Yeah, it's very interesting because happiness is not external. Happiness is internal. Happiness is a choice. It's a choice. It's very simple. It's a choice. Like you choose tea or coffee. You can choose happiness or you can not choose happiness. It's like we make decisions all the time. We choose what clothes to wear. We choose what job we want to do. We choose who to talk to. We choose who to call. We choose what breakfast to have. We choose what film to watch. Happiness, like everything else, is a choice. And when people have an affair or a problem, they choose to not be happy. It's a choice they make. It's a mistake. It's a giant mistake because nothing positive can come from it. There cannot be anything positive from it.
Yes, yes, of course.
Right, I mean, you
Of
understand.
course. Yes.
There's nothing positive for the relationship. There's nothing positive for the future. There's nothing positive for the children. There's nothing positive for you. There's nothing positive for anyone
Yes.
else. There's nothing positive for your friends. There's nothing positive for your parents. There's nothing positive for your grandchildren. There's nothing positive for your colleagues. There's nothing positive for the community.
Yes, yes.
All the
Everybody is unhappy.
Yes, yeah, yes,
Yes.
yeah, and that's a choice because everybody chooses the lie and not the truth. They choose the
Everybody
lie
choose the lie.
and not the truth. Well, I mean, what did Jesus say? I am the truth, I am the light, I am the way.
Mm.
I am the truth, I am the light, I am the way. There is no other way. There is no other path. And especially Christians, and most Christianity has been destroyed by the church. Christians need to understand this, and I think that a lot of Christians have forgotten this. That you build your house on the rocks, or you build your house on the sand.
Mm-hmm.
If you build your house on the rocks, you have the truth, and you have a strong foundation. If you build your house on the sand, your house will sink into the sea. Eventually. And how it happens is just like a disease. Something in the back of your mind begins to eat your brain. A little voice that's in the back of your mind, called your conscience, called the truth, called the Word of God for some people. It's there. And because you can't tell the truth, you get frustrated and you get nervous and you get angry and you get older and you say bad things to people and you get nasty and it begins to eat away very slowly at the human brain, and it causes you to make terrible decisions. Um, and so that one choice to decide to not be happy leads to so many other negative things. And I understand what it is that you are saying about relationships. The, it's hard. It's because it's meant to be hard. It's not meant to be easy. It's actually meant to be hard. It's not meant to be easy. People think, oh, you, marriage is not the end. Marriage is the beginning. Marriage is the beginning of the road. And it's a very, very, very long road. And it's a very hard road. And people get tested because you have to grow and they have to grow and and the kids have to grow and the parents have to grow and it's the test. It's the great test. People think you are tested in heaven. You're not tested in heaven. You're tested here. Hell is down there, heaven is up there, and this is the test. Life is the test.
Hmm.
and now when people go to church, they read some passages from the Bible and they feel better and they sing a few songs and they have a few cakes and they go home. And and this is a big mistake, because if it's not in your day, it's not in your life. If it's not in your day, it's not in your life. Your partner is in your day, they're in your life. Your children are in your day, they're in your life. Your work is in your day, it's in your life. Your family are in your day, it's in your life. If it's not in your day, it's not in your life. And so every experience that is important for us must be a daily experience. We must experience it repeatedly every day, and every day is a new day. Yesterday doesn't matter anymore. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's dead. The positive side of this is that you can be anything you want to be today. The negative side of this is what you did, and you can't change it, right? But, that's the principle of being reborn in the church, is that you can start again and realize that you made a mistake, but what's good will always be good and what's bad will always be bad. These are the moral foundational principles. And and I can understand when people who have no help make mistakes. I can understand that. I can understand when you're young and you don't know and nobody helps you and you're all alone and you make a mistake. I can understand that. But what I don't understand is when people in communities make mistakes, because the community is there to help. And especially if you're part of a church or a congregation or something like that, there's nobody who doesn't have problems. But that doesn't mean that you should make problems for other people, right? Life is difficult enough already. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people get divorced. Like maybe 50% of my friends get divorced, and it's always a mistake because nothing positive can come from it, because people approach it in the wrong way. And the right way to approach marriage is that you have to put work into your marriage like you put work into your job. If you put more energy into your work than you put into your marriage, then that's putting work before the marriage. And the people you work with are not going to care if you die that much, right? Because they just move on to something else. But the people that you live with, your family are the core of everything. So we have to put as much energy and work into our family as we do into our work, which is difficult for everybody. Look, I'm not good at that. Okay, I make mistakes with that, right? I mean, there are days when I put 80-90% of my energy into work and 10% into my family. That's wrong, and I know it's wrong. And I try to correct it the next day. I don't always get it right, because life is about making the slow, gradual improvements that we need to make over time. But over time, it makes a difference. The little things make big differences. As the children grow, we don't see the children grow. They just grow, and then suddenly they're big. And so that's the little steps of every day. We have to search for positive examples. It's not easy. It's the difference between active love and passive love. We've got to be active about the things that we love, to keep them alive, to put our energy into them, to make them work. And I understand why some people feel that divorce is the best path, but I urge people to realize that if you can work through the problems to find solutions, then you will be a stronger person. Because the only mistakes that you ever make are the mistakes that you make with the choices you make. and everybody's pointing the finger saying, he had an affair, or she had an affair, or he did that, and she did that. And my personal perspective is you chose that person. That person's mistake is your mistake because you chose that person.
Mm.
And that's accepting responsibility for the fact that responsibility never ends in human relationships. And you can't just wash your hands and say, oh, okay, that didn't work. And all of the religions teach us this. All of the good religions teach us this. It doesn't matter if you're a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Christian, a Muslim, a Sikh, or whatever type of religion you ascribe to. They all teach us this, that family is the core of everything. A woman should find a man should find a woman. It doesn't really work when it's two women together or two men together. I don't have anything against people trying that if they think it's a good thing for them. It's a free world, you know. Be who you want to be. But you know, history has a lot of examples that we can learn from. And I know deep down inside that if there's a problem in my relationship, there's a problem with me. There's a problem with me, and I have to fix myself.
Yes. We want to change the other person, not
oh yeah, yes, but we can't, because the other person is not it's not an application that we can upgrade, you know. the path of the path of the wrong decisions will take you to hell, right? It'll take you to a place where you don't want to go, and that hell is in your own head. That's where it is. And if there's a lot of broken people out there in the world, right? There's a lot of broken people, and no direction, lack of direction is a sign that something is broken in the person. And like, people are not machines, but people get broken like machines. Yeah, there's a lot of broken thinking, and this constant, as you described, up and down and change of opinions and everything moving. It's a sign of a broken person. It's a sign of a person who needs to go to therapy, who needs to spend their time and their money on personal reflection, understanding themselves. Because the reason why we make bad decisions is because we don't know what is right for us. And the reason why we don't know what is right for us is because we don't know who we are. And so it is very possible for somebody to live their whole life and not know who they are. It's very possible. In the modern society, it's very easy, because all you have to do is copy and paste everything from culture into your life, and you can get through life not very simply, because life is complicated, but you can do that, and it's very easy. But that doesn't solve, the greatest. Look, there's two questions: who am I? Why am I here? Nobody knows the answers. Right?
Yes,
Right? And because we don't know the answers, that's why we need to study. That's why we need to study, because we don't know the answers. And they're very important questions, and we never get the complete answer, because we understand that as we know more, the more we know, the less we understand, because the world gets bigger. For example, if you tell me there's a new genre of music called light switch. I don't know what that means, but there's a new genre of music called light switch. And I go, oh, wow, I just learned about light switch. But that's a whole big new topic that I don't know anything about. So that
Mm-hmm.
one piece of new knowledge means that there's 1,000 things I don't know. So intelligence understands that as we learn, as we grow and we learn, we realize there are more things that we don't know than what we do know. And this is a humbling experience. We have to learn to live with that. It's really difficult. We have to learn to live with the fact that we don't know things. And we have to learn to live with the fact that a lot of what we think it basically is wrong. Like there's this idea that the grass is always greener on the other side. We say that in English. The grass is always
Mm-hmm.
greener on the other side. Everything looks better in the neighbor's garden.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true. Because we don't know what's in
They have. Uh-huh.
their heads. We don't know what's in their heads. And my work in language is I have to open the brain and I have to climb inside and I have to see what works and what doesn't work, and I have to understand that, and then I have to fix what doesn't work or add in more information or build with what is there. And so I know from my work that there are two ways to understand people. Number one, you can look at what they do and you can see that. Or number two, you can listen to what they say. And then you can compare what they do with what they say. Now, you can look at a person and think, well, that person's crazy. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe they have a reason for what they're doing. I don't know. And you can listen to their words and see if their words and their actions are connected. Because a lot of people's words and actions have nothing to do with each other. For example, the promise, like when you marry somebody, the promise, till death do us part. No, if it, you mean it or you don't. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it is. People think they can buy a new partner like they buy a car or they buy a computer game or they buy a CD or they buy something like that. People think they can buy something. They can't. You can't buy a new partner in that sense. It can't be done. You have to be all in. There's no middle. Look, you don't play for Liverpool and Manchester United at the same time. You don't, right? Don't. You don't play for two teams at the same time. You only play for one, right? So you can't be both all in and all out of the situation. You can't be both all in and all out of of the marriage. And it's a question where people seem to think that they can make a decision today and it's not important. And the crazy thing is that every decision you make today is vitally important. It's vitally important because you don't know how important it's going to be in the future. You don't know how important what you do today is going to be in the future. So you must act as if everything is important. Because the alternative is to act as if nothing is important. And if nothing is important, you have zero direction in your life. Yeah. There's nothing worse than not knowing which way you're going, or not having any foundation, or not having anything to hold on to, not having a partner to lean on, not having a religion as a foundation. You see it with atheism. People who say they don't believe in anything. I'm an atheist.
Atheisty. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but not believing is still a belief.
That nothing exists.
Yes, it's still a belief. So even when you say I don't believe, that's still a belief. So you can't. There's no way out. There's no way out. And people think that there's a secret or a magic formula or an easy way, and none of these things exist. It's always it's always the same or similar difficult choices that we have to make each day. It doesn't get any better, and switching your partner is creating. You know what dominoes are? It's the same in Slovak as in English, right?
Domino.
Dominoes. Yeah. You push the first domino and all the other ones, and you don't know where it's going to stop. So you need to be sure that direction, that domino is a good domino. Because if not, the direction is going to be lost. And a lot of the problems that children have are unfortunately because their parents made bad decisions, and these decisions affect the children their whole lives. If you don't have mom and dad, where is your example for a positive future?
Mm.
And because a lot of life is copy and paste. A lot of life is we see what other people do, and we think, okay, that looks good, that works, I will try that. You know, we copy everything. We copy our fashions, we copy the music, our language, we copy what other people say. If the people around us don't use good language, we don't have good language. If mom and dad don't use a lot of words, we don't learn a lot of words. So if mom and dad don't read books, then we don't read books. If mom and dad don't communicate, we don't communicate. If mom and dad don't hug, we don't hug. And it's burned, it's printed into the back of our minds. And we take it with us for forever. Do you know how you know the truth? You know how you know the truth? You know the truth because it doesn't leave you. It stays there. That's how you know the truth. It stays there in the back of your mind. I remember 2 years ago, I had one client. And I remember something that she said to me, and this will stay with me forever until I die. This will stay with me. Yeah. She said, "My parents are divorced, but it is okay because they divorced after I left home."
Okay, it's the same situation.
And my brain went.
Yes.